What's going on, everybody? Sif checking in, and everyone, this game against the Chicago Bulls that happened recently is actually a pretty interesting game, because if you're on Team Tank, especially with how the Raptors are playing this season, this game is a pretty ideal game for you all, because not only did the Raptors come back in this game and make this game a 1-point game by the end of the game, but also in terms of how the Raptors were playing, you could say that they were doing everything they can to ensure that we get a good draft pick in the upcoming NBA draft that is going to happen in 2025. However, with that being said though, there is another thing that I noticed in this game, because this specific game really is a good example of the saying, never judge a book by its cover. And you're probably wondering, hey Siv, why are you saying that right now? And to be honest, when I look at this game not only from a more detailed standpoint, but also we talk about the different events that happened in this game, as well as all of the miscommunications, or rather the team mindset of this game, it really points to the direction that there is something else here in this game. And that is something we are going to be talking about in later portions of this video, as well as everything else that transpired in this game. So without further ado, let's get started. Now, to start off this video, we need to talk about the speed of this game, because both the Toronto Raptors and the Chicago Bulls were playing at a very unorthodox speed. What I mean is that both of these teams were playing at a much more slower speed than usual, which is very surprising to me, because you think that based on the circumstances of previous games and things of that nature, especially for the Toronto Raptors, they're going to play at a more faster pace and set the tone early, especially since that is what the Raptors did up to this point in all of our games. Now granted that the Raptors did let the opponents of the past in with some miscommunications and things of that nature in that second quarter, but that wasn't the case in this game, because we were already behind the 8-ball with our sloppy passes and all of the miscommunications, especially on the defensive end. In fact, it got so crazy to the point where Coach Darko had to call 3 timeouts within 5 minutes of the first quarter, which has not been done until now in this season. Why? Because one, the Raptors are much smarter than that on the offensive and defensive end, and two, the Raptors always had a lot of energy coming into this game. And I'm not going to really come out here and complain about it too much, because as of right now, as of this recording, we still have not played the Brooklyn Nets, which is our upcoming game on Thursday. So I'm going to see how the Raptors do in that game, especially from an energy standpoint, before really critiquing the Raptors on that, because as of now, I'm just going to consider it as a 1-game stint. And it's something where the Raptors just had one of those off nights, especially since they came off that 2-day break. On that note, shout out though to the Chicago Bulls, because they had that get up and go mentality in this game. And that was shown especially in that first half, more specifically by end of the first quarter to the beginning of the second quarter, because over and over and over again, the Chicago Bulls got the defensive rebound and then just outletted it to Lonzo Ball, who, with his amazing IQ and things of that nature, he was finding all of his teammates in their hot zone. And quite frankly, that is something that I wanted the Raptors to do, especially with the talented people that the Raptors have. Because if we did that, we could have got so much more points and the energy would have been crazy at home. But we let that slip away, and to the slip away, Lonzo Ball really padded his stats, especially from the assist column, and that really helped him and the whole team get their confidence as this game continued. And I believe it's also the factor that really helped Lonzo Ball hit that dagger 3 in that fourth quarter when the game became very close. So yeah, shout out to Lonzo Ball and the Chicago Bulls for doing what they did in this game, especially having that get up and go mentality against the Raptors when they knew the Raptors are sluggish, especially in this game. And yeah, the Raptors definitely need to improve their speed because we cannot have more situations like this going forward. Now, while we're talking about positives from this game, there are two positives for the Raptors, and that is two specific players being Grady Dick and Jamal Shead, because these two brothers really understood that the energy was kind of lackluster, especially throughout the majority of this game. And when they were in the game, you can really tell that the energy was at an all-time high, or at the very least has risen to normal standards. And quite frankly, as I was watching this game, I was really hoping for somebody to have a performance like they did, because in a game like this where things are not really going in the Raptors' favor and it was kind of sluggish, as a fan of basketball and the Raptors, this game was getting a little boring because it almost seemed as though we could have predicted the outcome of this game. And that is something that I believe that no fan wants to ever have to do, because it just takes the excitement out of the game and we as fans could be tuning into something else. But through Jamal Shead as well as Grady Dick's energy and the types of shots that they created, it made this game worthwhile, and dare I say, really helped the Raptors come back into this game, especially in that fourth quarter. So shout out to those two players for their energy in this game, and I really hope that they continue to work alongside each other or really sync up to the point where as they continue to be on the court together, they'll be able to make more amazing plays together. So I really am excited to see how they continue to grow, as well as what their chemistry is going to be like with one another, as I believe having a good chemistry with those two guys is really going to help the Raptors find some new energy boosts as well. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. Prayers up to Jakob Poeltl, because in this game he went down with a massive injury, and we later found out it was a groin injury, which is a very, very, very unfortunate injury, especially for a big man, because the way he fell, especially in this game, to get that injury, man, not only was it painful, but as a fan of both the Raptors and the NBA, it really is an unfortunate thing to see, because you never want to lose one of your players, and for the Raptors especially, he was our main center, and we really don't have a quote-unquote center type of player other than him, so to lose him is going to be a big blow for the Raptors. Now granted, even though it's a groin, he could make a possible comeback within the new year, but I don't think the Raptors are really going to force him to return that quickly, because we don't want to re-aggravate the injury. So I think he's going to be slowly coming back into this rotation, especially coming into the new year. And quite honestly, that is to be expected, because especially with the season that we're having, we're currently at like a 7-20 record, a 7 win to 20 losses record right now. So things are not looking like the Raptors are going to make the playoffs or anything like that. At least I don't think so, based on our injury bug and things of that nature. So because of all of that, I think that they're not really going to try to say that Jakob Poeltl needs to come back immediately to help the Raptors play or win games. And instead, I think he's just going to come back with a minutes restriction at that and slowly work his way up from there. So prayers up to Jakob Poeltl for this injury, and hopefully he gets the speedy recovery soon, and hopefully he'll be able to play with the Raptor squad once again in 2025. So yeah, overall this game between the Toronto Raptors and Chicago Bulls was an interesting game, and while usually I would say for the Raptors to improve on this and find some ways to carry over what was learned in this game to the other games. I can't really say that about this game, ironically, because one, we played at a sluggish pace, and two, we were making mistakes that usually the Raptors don't make. So it's really hard for me to say that they should continue to do what they're doing in this game, because that's clearly not the case. So instead, if there's one thing that the Raptors should take away from this game, I think it should be Grady Dick and Jamal Shedd's energy, because the way they played in this game, especially in the second half, is what really helped the Raptors propel to make this a close game and almost win this game. So I hope that is something that the Raptors do going forward, right from the get-go against Brooklyn, as well as any other future team that we play, because doing so will really help our chances of winning, or at least making this as competitive as possible. So we'll just need to see how the Raptors respond to this upset, or rather this situation against their game in Brooklyn, as well as all of their future games as well. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you all think about this game. Did you feel the same way I felt, or did you think there was much more situations in this game that meets the eye? I'd love to know. And as always, thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you all continue to be amazing. Take care, everyone.